What does your insurance company not want you to know about your insurance claim? So I'm going to give you several tips that are going to help you understand when you have an insurance claim with your insurance company. So we're talking in the personal injury realm, So you've already settled with liability. Now you're turning to your insurance on the side to obtain more compensation for your injuries. So you're dealing with your own insurance company. So the first one that they don't want you to know about is they are not your friend. I have a lot of clients, potential clients that call me and say, well, but it's my insurance company. So I paid for it. The limits are whatever, so they should just give it to me. No. The way this works is it's still an adversarial process. So your insurance company is now against you. They are doing just what the liability insurance company did, and they're assessing what the value of your case is. They're going to argue against it. They're going to come up with defenses to say this is why your case isn't worth as much, just like the other side did. So do not fall for the trap that this is your insurance company. You can lower your guard. They're going to treat me right. It's going to be an easy process. I'm going to get paid the compensation I'm deserved. It's not the way it works. So treat it just like you're dealing with the liability, meaning the at-fault parties insurance company. So that's number one. Number two is to remember when it is your insurance company that you don't want to get stressed out by how long the process takes. Just with liability, the insurance adjusters take oftentimes the strategy of trying to frustrate you with the timing of it and how long it takes, the arguments that they make, making lowball offers. All of that's still going to happen. Don't get stressed out by it. You're falling into their trap. It's going to take time. That's fine, because what you're doing at the end of the day is trying to get just compensation. So get back to where you were before the wreck. Nothing more, nothing less. If it takes longer because they're trying to drag it out, just get through the process. Do not stress over it, because you'll end up making a mistake and taking a low ball offer because you just want to be done with it. Think of how many people take that offer early on, the $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, before they really know what their case is worth, because they just want to be done with it. That's fine, but you can't complain later when you do that. Think of how many times they get away with making those low ball offers. People just accept it. Don't do it. Just because it's your insurance company doesn't mean you just have to accept what their first offer is. It's the same process. Remember what I just told you in the first step. Don't assume because it's your insurance company you're going to get treated any different. So knowing that, get through the whole process. Never become stressed out to the point where you're just going to do whatever needs to be done to get the case over with. The next one is, remember, you are owed the full amount of your medical bills in the state of Georgia. So check your state if you're not in Georgia. Most are that way. There are some where it's what the health insurance company or whoever paid your bill paid for that treatment. Here in Georgia and in other states, no, it's the full amount. It's the ticket price for that procedure, for that treatment. That is what you're legally owed. So don't even let your insurance company tell you, because of the other steps I said, oh, what's my insurance company? They wouldn't lie to me. They wouldn't tell me something that's not true. No, it's the full amount of your medical costs. So remember that. Number 2 or 3, I guess at this point, is you can hold even your insurance company in bad faith if they refuse to tender your policy limit when your case is worth more than the policy. So even your insurance company can be found in bad faith, and it could be a tool to use leverage-wise to get them to finally tender the full amount. If they make a mistake, they could be found in bad faith. So again, just because it's your insurance company does not mean they can't be found in bad faith for way undervaluing and refusing to tender policy limits when a good, reasonable adjuster would have adjusted it for the full amount. So remember that. That folds into some of the other tips I'm going to give you here. First one being, know your policy limit. They don't want you to know your policy limit. They're not going to ever mention your policy limit, just like liability won't. Well, with your insurance, you can easily look up what your policy limit is. So know what kind of you have, how much therefore applies. What's that top ceiling of your potential compensation from your own insurance company? You've got to know it. So know your policy limit. Next, you want to know you might be able to stack multiple insurance policies that you have with your insurance company. They don't want you to know that. They're going to act like it's only this one policy that applies, so we're going to talk about it. And okay, once you've done the step I just told you about and you've learns your policy limit, they're going to act like that's the only one. It's on you to know that you can stack multiple policies. When you can and when you can't depends on the state law regarding stacking. Here in Georgia, it has to be a separate policy. So if you're working with State Farm and you only have one vehicle under the State Farm policy, but you have, let's say, a motorcycle not involved in the wreck here on the other side, you want to know that that policy wise would apply as well and would potentially stack on top of whatever State Farm's coverage is. You'll have to know how those interplay, but just knowing that that's available is a big issue. They're not going to tell you that. They're hoping you won't know that. They're hoping to get that signed release by paying out under policy one, and you didn't even know about all these other policies and how they could apply. Because what they're hoping you're going to think, that I've heard folks when they talk with me assume, is it's only the vehicle you were involved in the wreck with, that coverage is the only one that you can tap into. That is not the case, depending on what other kind of vehicles you have and other policies. So be very, very careful. Don't make that assumption. Check out stacking. Very, very important. And the final one that I can give you, really, really important here in the state of Georgia, and hopefully in other states as well, is there a state law that using your own insurance, so coverage, in a not at fault wreck to help compensate for your personal injuries or even property damage, by the way, cannot be the reason to raise your rates. So your rates will not go up because of filing a claim. They cannot do that. The only time they really can, this is the one caveat, is if you had multiple claims within a certain period of time. 1, 2, 3 years is typically what you're looking at. So most scenarios that I talk to folks about, this is the first time they would ever be using their So they don't have that issue. Georgia law says you cannot use it to raise rates. Why? Because it's a not at fault wreck. If it's a not at fault wreck, you have purchased this insurance, they cannot use it against you. Yes, if you're at fault and your liability insurance is used, your rates will go up, but it's not the same way on So that's a really big thing to think about, because they're hoping you don't know that, and that way you won't make a claim on your So they're getting your policy premium, and then you never use it because, oh my God, my rates are going to go up. I don't want to do that. I'll just take whatever I get from the at fault and just move on. No, don't do that. Don't fall victim to that kind of scenario. So these are the different things that your insurance company is hoping you won't know in either filing a claim or pursuing it after you file. One final one that I can give you is with a claim in the state of Georgia, for instance, so check your state as well for the information on the requirements. You have to put your on notice within a certain period of time or you violate your policy. Because it's your own insurance, you have to follow the policy. It's a contract. And in it, there is going to be language that says you have to notify after a wreck your insurance within a quote unquote reasonable amount of time so they can investigate it and all of that. So you don't get to wait, for instance, a year and then go, oh, I can do insurance on mine, so let me go ahead and file a claim. You're way too late. What we have seen under Georgia court decisions is 90 days tends to be the cutoff point. If you have not notified your own insurance of the wreck in the first 90 days, you're probably not going to be able to file a claim. It's not a total bar, but with the case law in most situations, you're going to be out of luck. They're going to say, hey, we would have taken that claim, but you did not follow the policy. There's no coverage for this claim. So be very, very mindful that every single car wreck, you want to put your insurance company on notice of the wreck, regardless of whether you end up filing a claim ultimately or not. That way you meet that policy burden of putting them on notice, and you won't have an issue in the future should you have to use that money in your insurance and file a claim. I hope this video has helped you when it comes to things that your insurance company is not going to want you to know when you try to file a claim after a car wreck on your insurance. Thanks for watching the video. We have a number of other videos on our channel on all various topics related to personal injury. Please check those videos out. If you have any questions or comments, please comment below to this video or any of my others. I'd be happy to hear what you have to say and respond. And again, thank you so much for watching this video.